Following the vein of not knowing what we don't know, certainly when we're looking at this kind of technology and what we've just learned, this was started in 2018. So knowing how technology evolves, we probably have a lot more technology that could be being used that we have no knowledge of. I want to go into some of the recommendations that you may or may not make from your end on this report that we're studying right now. I know that you're going to submit some of these in writing. Specifically knowing what this specific software can do, perhaps in your research, is there anything new you'd recommend for the Privacy Act, not that we didn't have before in facial recognition technology or on mobile data?
I think I will wait to get the briefing on those specific tools to see all of the capabilities that it has. But I think that we need to make sure that the legislation is, when it's amended, that it's done in a way that it can keep up with technology. So we can't amend legislation as quickly as technology evolves. So how do we make sure that the legislation is flexible enough to keep up with that technology that's going to be evolving? But I think the questions remain the same in terms of focusing on the impact, on the privacy intrusive nature of these tools, and comparing that to the goals and making sure that it goes no further than what is required by the goal.
And in some of those recommendations, based on some of my research, there are a tremendous amount of loopholes that technology exploits in order to be able to use that. One of those is that if satellites go over Earth orbit and that information is contained on that satellite, there's ways that they can be stored in other countries. So that Canada can get that through other ways, but we have specific loopholes that we just haven't caught up to, and we know we're finding that out here. Is that something else your office is investigating and looking into when it comes to being as modern as possible when we redo these privacy laws?
We're working very closely with our international counterparts and seeing how we can work together, put forward similar principles, and deal with these issues that, in many regards, know no borders. So that's part of what we do in terms of the international outreach and sharing of information.
And in terms of public versus private, I know this has come up before. There's certainly sometimes different rules for private and public. You've also talked about working with the provinces. So specifically when it comes to private and public, working with the provinces, are we developing best practices in order to look at this technology as a whole, federally and provincially?
We have great working collaborations with the provincial counterparts, and this is my first month, but I was told that there is a monthly calls and regular discussions and exchanges. So we do keep a close relationship to work with each other and to make sure that our respective legislation evolves in the right way, and we learn from best practices in one area. And my goal as the Federal Privacy Commissioner is making sure that I can give the best advice and recommendation to Parliament so that the federal legislation is as good as it can be.
And similarly, looking at across the world, so our European partners, is that something your office is in contact with too, looking at what their privacy laws look like, privately and publicly, and how
Absolutely.
We can have the
we
best
have
practice?
Very close collaboration. I've had already exchanges with my counterparts since the start of my term on June 27th, and so we're looking at the GDPR, we're looking at developments in the US, developments in the UK. So we're facing similar challenges, and there are different approaches that are adopted, and so my office's goal is to look at what will work best for Canadians and to provide recommendations to Parliament via this committee.
And so just to echo my counterpart, does your office at this point need any more resources to find more of that collaboration?
Well, at this point, my office does need more resources. We've made a request for more resources already, and we're awaiting the response on that. And we are evaluating what we will need in terms of C27 and beyond.
Thank you very much. Thanks.